Welcome back everyone to another video on Overtech. We actually packed our bags to go over to Katowice, Poland. Why, you might ask? Man, you've probably heard about the big buzz about Ren Sport, that is a sim that isn't even out yet, having a big esports event, ESL R1, and it's happening here at IEM Katowice. Behind us is the expo hall where Rennsport will happen, and we are here to actually figure out, Rennsport, is the current build any good that these pros are racing? Or maybe it isn't, who knows? And does that event actually stack up against other sim racing events and also against the main esports event here? So let's go. Now we've made it into the expo hall where the ESL R1 event will actually happen, and since it's still practice session, that gives us the chance here to actually be on the stage itself where the very first round will happen. All of the 12 rigs around me will be used for the actual event, as they will always race in 12 people in a heat. And it's really cool to see. I mean, this is now sim racing on a proper stage, and there's an audience, obviously a little bit like a mini Gamescom in this expo hall, which hopefully gives a lot of people a shot at sim racing and seeing what we're doing here. And we obviously will try out the game, not just on stage, but also on the same build along the outside here, where you can try out Rennsport, figuring out how good it is right now, where it is, and how good is the event. All right, we're actually on the same track as the pros now, which is kind of fun. They're doing their official practice, and I try to just stay out of the way. That's why you see me always looking into the mini-map real quick. I mean, obviously seeing Spa in Unreal 5 is really, really nice. Good looking track. And right from the get-go, this is really just me jumping into the rig. It feels good driving-wise. It's like you get an immediate feel for the rotation of the car, what the rear is doing. Too much traction control for my liking. But I'm so afraid of being in the way of the pros. It's their official training session right now. Would love to compete here. I'm nowhere fast enough for that. We all know that. Not like I could actually make it here. But let's at least see how everything feels. Let's see. Just imagine me, being quicker than everyone, huh? That would be crazy. Quick radar, that's interesting. So the radar is already in the game. The feedback that you get on the steering wheel regarding what the car does, if it actually rotates or wobbles around a bit, that is really nice. It can be super precise on that. What we managed, we're probably by far the slowest. I think that's not really surprising among all these pros. But there was someone slower than me, actually, to see this correctly. At least on the last lap, not on the fastest. I'm just 5-6 seconds off. That's nothing. Out of it again. Yeah, old man coming out of the rig. All right, we're here at the stage and we grabbed ourselves Isaac from the G2 racing team. And Isaac, first of all, great to see you once again. Everyone is here, it seems, right?
Yeah, a lot of people here, a lot of familiar faces from over the years, and yeah, it's really cool to be here and get stuck in.
Does it make you more nervous to race on such a stage, or do you think, like, in the end, you're zoned in, doesn't matter?
No, I don't think it makes me more nervous, really. If anything, it's the other way around. Like, you've got less time to think. Like, when you're at home, you set aside a whole day, and maybe the race isn't until the evening, and you kind of have a lot of time to build up nervous energy. Whereas here, you're always around people, always people to talk to. The atmosphere helps as well. It kind of gets you going, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Only upwards from now. Thank you very much, and good luck in the competition.
Thank you very much.
Seems like we're not that far yet with esports. we have been able now to grab ourselves a rig to try out Ren Sport, because we're not just here to look at the event and tell you how that feels and how cool the esports part is, but we also want to figure out what's the current situation at Rennsport, because there is new content, Nürburgring GP, Spa-Francorchamps, so it's time for us to try that out. Out of the pit area here at Nürburgring GP, and obviously, I mean, we're talking about Unreal 5.1 here for Rennsport. It looks good right from the get-go. Obviously, in the cockpit, we won't really have that issue regarding the ghosting that you might already know from ACC, which is Unreal Engine 4. Instead, we just get really crisp graphics. Compared to the Summit, where we played that on in Munich, it's even more clearer, while I already get a clear penalty for clearly cutting the track. But it just, visually, it's really stunning. It's good looking. The textures, probably, you won't see that good on the recording. We all know how it is on YouTube. But sitting here and seeing it on the screen, it's really nice. In terms of details, when we head over to Spa, you will also see that the team did a very good job there, giving you proper immersion just from looking at the track and racing there. It's really good. We will try out a different car once we go to Spa, but even here, like that corner in real life, you could really launch it over here. And in many sims, I have the feeling that I can't do that because it's just not the same. The reality felt smoother than what it was in most games. Obviously, I don't always have a GT3 car to test on this track, but at least there had been race cars. But here, it's just the same. I just launch it right in there, go for it. All right, now we're actually behind the steering wheel of a new car, a new announcement to Rennsport. It is the Mercedes-AMG GT3. Obviously, with the Mercedes team being in ESL R1, it made sense to bring the car. As I said already in Spa, obviously there are no visitors just yet. Or maybe they saw my driving at the Nürburgring and they didn't felt like coming here. That would make also sense. I have been here for an event, like shortly before Christmas, but obviously the trees weren't green at that point, but I can tell you, trees in Spa are a significant factor, at least for me, in terms of immersion, and I really like those one here. There's a variety of them, they look good in terms of detail, and as I said, with the new build compared to what we tested at the Summit, a bit late in the brakes, compared to that, they look a bit sharper. Everything just is a bit more clearer in terms of the picture. And the detail and the wheel up Rouge into Radio, that is really nice. As I said before, it's just really good to get into it. It's not a long time to adapt from one sim to this one, it feels. Also interesting now how different the rotation of the car is compared to the Audi R8 we had. So once again, we can't go into detail right now on how real everything is because we don't have the time, and we would also need to look at telemetry and stuff. But at least going from a midship car now into the front engine AMG, you immediately feel the difference, and that's a good start, I think. As obviously this content, you can put it right next to ACC, as both bring you the same car class for now, and both have a similar feeling, that's for sure. I mean, ACC and Rennsport both have similarities when you actually get into the game and step into the car for the first time, which I think will make it easy for people that like ACC to also like Rennsport. I really hope that there will be more of this and more for us in terms of content. So obviously we now know that there's Hockenheim, there's Nürburgring GP and Spa, which are great tracks, but also tracks that we have everywhere. But they look good, and I think they also bring a very, very good level in terms of detail of the mesh that this track is built on, in terms of laser scan or road and track detail in general. Oh, that was, I couldn't stop myself from doing it once again, but I will park it here. So let's actually check out the rest of the event. Obviously we can't do all of this with even more voices from the Overtake team. That's why I now do it full esports mode. All the way from Australia onto the event, it's Emily!
Yes, I'm here. I've flown 27 hours. It's a long way.
That's quite long.
Yeah.
So that's where we start, because obviously people don't only want to listen to what I think about the event or the game itself,
yes.
They also want to hear what you think, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Was it worth the 27 hours that you spent getting it?
I think so. Like, honestly, it was, the game's really fun. I think it's really heavily in development, so there's so many rough edges with Ren Sport. I think it's really important to take that into account count when you're playing the game. But honestly, the building blocks are there. It's quite fun. Like, I'm enjoying to drive it. The driving is quite fun. They've just got to, you know, kind of sand off all the edges and make it a whole thing.
Let's get away from the sim, because I think there's still, I always said in the videos here, don't really want to judge it compared to other sims. Didn't spend enough time, nor did we have seen enough yet to really say if it's better or whatsoever. But it's in a good state, I'd say. For what it is right now, it's in a good state. Let's go over to the actual event. So you saw a lot, because you also had been on the Gran Turismo World Tour, which is one I saw early on as well.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that's the only thing that we might find right now that's comparable besides F1 Esports, but that isn't a real event.
Yeah,
It is a production.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that F1 Esports, I mean, it hasn't been a LAN for a couple of years, I mean, since COVID, which makes sense. But yeah, Gran Turismo World Series, I think, is the closest event to this. And I love the Gran Turismo World Series, I get to compete in it. And this is the closest I've seen anything ever come. And I think it's honestly awesome. The vibe here is great. I'm not sure if it comes through on the stream. Like, I'm gonna have to watch it back when I get home, because maybe people are like, oh, this is so-so. But like, here in Katowice, how do you say it? I've said it wrong so many times. Here, everyone's having a great time. Everyone's like enjoying it. All the drivers are happy to be there. The teams are happy to be here. It's really fun. I'm enjoying it.
But I see in the background already, we're getting close to our second finale, and I know that everyone here wants, including the cameraman, he's already hooked on sim racing. Normally he isn't a sim racer, he came here, now he can't stop watching it. So I think we should all go back, and thank you very much for joining me once again.
Yeah, thanks.
And back to the action. And now for everyone that prefers the too long didn't read summary from me instead of the longer version, quite simple. Is there hope with the game? Definitely. Is it there yet? No. Do you really want to compare that early? No, which is why we don't really talk about it, how it is against ACC, how it is against iRacing, right? There's still a lot of development coming, but the initial feel of the sim is already really good, and I think all the drivers have been more than happy. We have been happy when trying it, so that's a thumbs up for me for that one. Event-wise, great event. We want more offline events. Was it flawless? In terms of technical issues, it was, which is something that we really needed on the sim racing community right now, instead of another drama like Virtual Le Mans, for example. Was it perfect in terms of how we introduce people to sim racing and how much information we have on the screen? Definitely not, but hey, there's always room for improvement, and this is just their first event. We want to see more of these events because it's a great opportunity, I think, for everyone in the scene, for the drivers, for the teams, for viewers and audience. But we also want to see more of them outside of ESL R1. So it's a shout out basically for all the organizers out there. Give us more of these events. They're really, really cool. Nothing more to say from my side besides let us know in the comment section below what you thought about ESL R1. If you did not watch this, let us know why. What was the reason for you to not follow Rennsport content, or maybe not following ESL R1? We're really interested in that one. But I would really appreciate if you subscribe, if you leave a comment, if you click the bell, you know, the usual that everyone says, and nothing else other than I want to go back to the stage. I want to see more of that. That's what I will do right now. See you.